Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and hit that post notification. Anytime I bring you this heat, this action, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive it. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this morning's video, if you will. Oftentimes, people text me. Sometimes people even call me. You know what I mean? And I get a whole lot of messages, my comments and things of that nature. And I try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. And sometimes people, they want me to do videos on certain subject matters. One of the things that someone suggested is that I do a video on the 5 police officers in Memphis that are accused of killing the young man, I believe Tyree. I believe that's his name, Tyree. Wow, I cannot believe I can't think of his last name right off the top of my head. It was earlier in the year, and they pulled the gentleman over, apparently for no reason. They pulled him over for no reason. And when they pulled him over, it was one officer that had a personal vendetta against him. Now, what they're saying is that he had a problem. Tyree Nichols, that was his name, Tyree Nichols. And they're saying that the officer who initiated the stop, they were part of like a gang unit, if you will, that had been assembled in Memphis. Well, they knew who this individual Tyree was, pulled him over, and the reason for pulling him over is supposedly that Tyree had been messing around with the officer's ex. Keyword ex. So he had a problem with Tyree. And so they pull him over, yank him out of the car, cuff him. Now, prior to that, Tyree takes off running. He's scared for his life. See, a lot of times what you all don't understand is some of you all anyway, do what the police says and don't resist the police. And that's true. But a lot of times people are afraid because when the police, you see the videos, get on the ground, don't move. They screaming and yelling, man. And it's like, come on, man. Seriously? Like I murdered somebody or something? Guy was unarmed. Takes off running. They catch him. He's running towards his house. They catch him. They tase him. They beat him. 5 different officers. They beat him, kicking him, stomping him out. He's cuffed at this point. He's yelling for his mama, screaming for his mama. Mama, mama. As they continue to just beat him. After they beat him, they sit there and just talk and they celebrating as though, they done found a El Chapo or somebody. You know what I mean? The ambulance comes on the scene. They call the whole firefighters. Everybody comes on the scene. Nobody seems to really be, too concerned about this gentleman that they done just beat all of the life out of. Eventually he gets to the hospital. And unfortunately, he doesn't make it. He passes away. My condolences to Tyree's family. So he passes away, and this is one of the few times I actually commend the Memphis Police Department because they were on it. They were on it, immediately. The officers were immediately fired and charged with second-degree murder. I think it should be first-degree murder if you ask me. At least for the individual that plotted the whole thing. Difference between first-degree murder and second-degree murder in the state of Tennessee. First-degree murder is actually a lot of states, it's very similar. First-degree murder is something that you have to plot out and plan out. It's something that was premeditated. Well, if you ask me, that's premeditated. And in the state of Tennessee, it's punishable by the death penalty or life in prison if the jury doesn't want to give you the death penalty. Second-degree murder is punishable up to 60 years. I believe it's 15 on the low end and up to 60 on the high end. I definitely think that gentleman who had a problem with Tyree simply because he was talking to his ex-girlfriend, he should be facing first-degree murder. But nevertheless, they're not. Oftentimes police get away with doing things to other people, but if other people did it to them, it'd be totally different. Whenever somebody does something, kills a police officer, or shoots a police officer, or harms a police officer, that's a manhunt. But when a police officer does something to an unarmed civilian, it's I was afraid for my life. I thought he had a weapon. Makes no sense. Most of the time, people that are harmed, they're already in cuffs, laying flat down on their stomach. But you thought that he had a weapon? It's a sad situation, man. Very, very sad situation. So, the gentleman passes away. Like I said, they're immediately terminated. They're charged. But the thing about it is, if it was an ordinary citizen, such as you and I, they would be in jail with no bond. Or the bond would be extremely high. All of them out on bond. Every last one of them are out on bond. So the question that was actually asked to me, that was posed to me, if you will, are those guys going to have a tough time when they go to prison? Because they're going to prison. They're definitely going to prison. Now, I think one of them, I'm thinking that I read that they didn't indict him. They dismissed the charges against him because they're saying that he didn't really have much to do with the beating. But the other four, they're going to have to go to trial with it. I'm going to tell you like this. No place is a good place to go to prison. But from what I hear in Tennessee, you definitely don't want to go to prison in Tennessee. Gangland. I've always heard you don't want to go to prison in Tennessee. So you got 4 black officers that will all get convicted. It's not going to be any probation. It's not going to be any Club Med where they send them to a special facility for cops. Now they're going to the state pen. And when they go to the state pen, they're going to go to probably a maximum security. Or somewhere, if it's not max, which I can't imagine why it wouldn't be, it's going to be close to max. And them guys, me personally, I don't know if they're going to survive it. It's going to be hell for them every day. Think about it. In prison, you run with cliques. You have a car. Now, your car is whoever, your neighborhood, your set, your city, depending on, where you at. Who are these guys going to run with? First of all, they police officers. Police officers are not liked. Former police officers are not liked in prison whatsoever. So that's going to be the first strike. That's going to be the first strike against them. Secondly, y'all killed a black man. An innocent, unarmed black man. Knowing that these things continuously go on. And y'all killed a brother. So ain't no gangs gonna fool with you. Ain't no gangs gonna protect you. So what are you gonna do? They might get extorted. Now perhaps, they get extorted for some, for a fee. But I don't necessarily even see that happening. They'll try to, put them in protective custody, but that only protects you so much. Them guys are gonna do, oh man, it's gonna be terrible for them. It's gonna be terrible for them. So they better cherish the days and the time that they have while they're out right now. Because personally, I'm not gonna say that they won't see the streets again, because I see how they do police, man. Wouldn't be surprised if they get the lower end. Like I said, the lowest they can get is 15 years. The highest they can get is 60. I don't think there's going to be any plea deals. I think the prosecution's going to take this all the way to the, to the box, to trial. And they're going to seek that 60 years. And hopefully, and this is probably the only time that you'll ever see me wish jail upon anybody. Because it's just something that you typically don't do, man. Hope them dudes get the whole 60. Pause. Hope they get everything they deserve for beating that innocent man like that, man. That's a human being, man. And they just beat him as if he was just a rag doll. You all took somebody's son away from here for no reason. Probably somebody's father. Probably somebody's brother. Probably somebody's uncle. Someone's best friend. All for what? Because you thought that you could? Because you the police? You're sadly mistaken. So I just want to know, was it worth it to you? Was it worth it to you guys? I wonder what your excuse is. I wonder what your excuse is going to be. I know. You feared for your life. I know. You feared for your life. 9 and 10 of y'all. One of him, he's cuffed. He's screaming out for his mother. But you feared for his life, so you beat him. And you beat him, and you beat him, ultimately killing him for no reason at all. So I said, to me, it sounded like premeditated to me. You pulled the man over knowing who he was, knowing what you was going to do to him. See, you all thought that you was just going to beat him, rough him up a little bit. And to make matters worse, allegedly, the gentleman who had the real problem with Tyree, who didn't like the fact that supposedly Tyree was with his ex, they said this monster took pictures of him laying there bleeding, beat half to death. He took pictures and sent them to his girl. His ex-girl, rather. Now, all of this is alleged. I wasn't there. I'm not close. I don't know anybody in the family. I'm just reading the things that are printed online. That's out here for everybody to read. It's for the public. Public information. Hope those guys get 60 years, man. I don't think Tennessee has parole. So they get 60 years, guess what? Perhaps this will finally send a message to the rest of these cops that think that they can just pull people over and just beat them and just shoot them and kill them for no reason. But what's so crazy, it's been other killings since then. It's been other killings since then. Just had one, I believe, up in Ohio not long ago. Police officer shoots through the front window of a lady's car who, at worst, was accused of stealing liquor out of a store, out of Kroger's. Accused, allegedly. She started to pull off. She was going no more than 1 mile an hour. Nobody was in jeopardy. They could have easily busted her window out. They could have easily slit her tire. Police officer just, you know what? Bow! Fires into the car. 21-year-old pregnant young lady. She dies, the baby dies. He feared for his life. And of course, the police department, they're saying that basically he didn't do anything wrong. He was assaulted because the car took off 1 mile an hour. When I say 1 mile an hour, I literally mean 1 mile an hour, if that. No one was in danger whatsoever. Just another excuse for the police to kill a black person. Just my opinion, just my thoughts, because you see it so much. And it's senseless. It's senseless. If you so scared, man, go to church. If you so scared, why are you an officer? You are so afraid, but there's no threat. There's no imminent threat towards your life whatsoever. Or how about the lady a few years ago that when the man was laying face down with his hands behind his back, cuffed, and you shot him in his back? Oh, I thought it was my taser. Guess what she got, you all? I think she got 2 years. And it may have even gotten probated or she got paroled. It's one of the two that I believe. 2 years. Shot the man in his back while he was cuffed, laying flat on the ground. And she said she thought it was her taser. It's not even a question of when is it going to stop. It's not going to stop. These officers are going to continue to kill innocent people. And they're going to continue to get away with it or get away with it with a slap on the wrist. They got body cams they're wearing. It's right here. Cold blood, y'all killing people. And you still continue to beat these charges or get away with slaps on the wrist. It's sad, man. It's a very sad situation. Hopefully you all share this video. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely, like I said, share, subscribe to the channel. So anytime I bring you this heat, this action, you're amongst the first to receive it. And hopefully, you know, if it interests you, follow that situation. See what happens to these officers in Memphis. 5 black officers. Well, actually, like I said, I think one of them was cleared of any wrongdoing. So it may just be 4 of them that's on trial. Or that's headed to trial. Follow this situation and see what happens. Because I'm watching very, very closely. Very closely. I don't think it's going to be a slap on the wrist this time. And when y'all go to prison, They're gonna see how tough you really are. Yeah. Yeah, y'all was tough when the guy's laying there screaming for his mama and he's cuffed and is, 4 or 5 of y'all beating him and kicking him and yeah, you tough now? You was real tough. See, y'all get to that state pen, guess what? Yeah, we're gonna see how tough you are. You like to fight, right? We're gonna see how tough you are, man. And that ain't no joke. No exaggerating. So hopefully I answered your question. The gentleman that asked me that, hopefully I was able to thoroughly answer your question. Them guys are better off just read between the lines. Because once they get in that Tennessee Department of Corrections, it's over. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. That's what it's going to be for them. Night. That's what they're going, night. So they can try to get protective custody. It don't matter. That don't mean nothing. Because if they want you bad enough, guess what? They have individuals that check in. Yeah, I'm afraid of my life just to get back there to protective custody. Just to get back there to you. So ain't no, you can run, but you can't hide. They gonna get you. All 4 of them. They gonna get them. Real Kens TV.